how Singapore wrote itself from communism despite Chinese influence. In the 1950s and 60s, Singapore faced threats from all sides as it navigated separation from Malaya. The British were leaving, Malaysians were hostile, and Indonesians seemed to want destruction. Internally, the political parties, PAP and Communist United Front aka Barisan, clashed, creating further instability in a most uncertain period in Singapore. The PAP formed strategies from 1954 to 1959 as an opposition party and 1959 to 1965 in government. In 1961, Lim Chin Siong led the Barisan to split from PAP, marking a significant political event. The Singapore Communists, with 20 to 30% of the electorate, preached a China-inspired revolution and adopted the political infighting breeding method of UMNO ultras. But surprisingly, they suffered key setbacks. A failed September 1962 merger referendum with Malaysia, where the chairman, Dr. Lee Kuan Yew, denounced Singapore's independence as phony, and a crushing September 1963 election defeat, winning only 13 out of 51 seats and 33% of the votes to become rather the second largest party. Dr. Cho lost his seat in parliament, leading his party to boycott. He announced a new approach, taking the battle to the streets, inspired by China's Cultural Revolution. Dr. Cho asked his party to hold demonstrations, similar to China's Red Guards. The demonstrations turned violent, clashing with police, and participants were charged with mischief and rioting. Aftermath of communist loses and actions. On January 1, 1966, a shocking move. Lim Huan Boon, Barisan's opposition leader, broke away and resigned as MP, declaring Singapore's independence. The domino effect began. 2 more MPs quit a week later, and St. Bani renounced communism. The PAP seized the opportunity, winning the Bukit Merah by-election unopposed. Lee Kuan Yew's actions unwittingly handed the PAP unchallenged dominance of parliament for 30 years, marking a significant shift in Singapore's political landscape. In January 1968, after the British announced their withdrawal, Lee Kuan Yew called for a general election. The Barisan boycotted, starting single-party rule by the PAP. Lim lost confidence in the communist movement, resigned, and was denounced by Lee, leading to the Barisan's disintegration, going underground. In Singapore, communists went underground, but intelligence departments found their secret networks linked to armed groups in Malaya. They reappeared as the Malayan National Liberation Front, MNLF, an adjunct of the Malayan Communist Party, MCP, and resorted to violence and terror, exploding bombs in Jurong and Changi in the 1970s. The British had previously, in the 1940s and 1950s, banished thousands, reducing their numbers to about 2,000 guerrillas by the 1970s, mostly in Thailand. Most were arrested and detained in Malaysia and Singapore. Some were rather not banished, including Lim Chin Siong, an exile in Britain and a devoted communist, attempted suicide in prison in 1965. Later, he returned to Singapore in the 1980s and passed away in 1996. Chia Thai Po, a fellow communist, held on to the cause even after 20 years. He was detained, then released in 1989, and finally freed in 1998. Their stories weave a complex tale of conviction and perseverance, how the communists failed in Singapore. This is a story of strategic maneuvers over decades. Singapore's crackdown on communism was multifaceted. By adopting English as the main teaching medium, they drained the communists' Chinese-educated recruit pool. Security departments were used to ban communist infiltration in organizations like the trade unions and old boys associations. The government required former communist cadres to sever party ties and disclose past activities to return to Singapore, preventing them from passing on subversion skills. Lee Kuan Yew's government policy was to not deal with CPM as a group. Any member of the CPM who wanted to come back to Singapore must cut links with the party, make a full disclosure of his past CPM activities, and satisfy the Internal Security Department. In a surprising turn of events, Singapore welcomed back prominent communist leaders, including Yu Chui Yip and P.V. Sharma from China, and Devan Nair and Samad Ismail from India. Notably, Fang Chuangpi, affectionately called the plenipotentiary by Lee Kuan Yew, remained abroad. Their intriguing exchanges began in 1958 and had continued intermittently. A dramatic August 1995 final meeting in China revealed the Plen's authority over the MCP, as a city councillor resigned at his request as proof to Lee Kuan Yew. Lee Kuan Yew and the Plen conversed in Mandarin, discussing the Plen's potential return to Singapore without renouncing communism. Plen intimated that he had been responsible for Lee Kuan Yew's protection from being harmed by the communists, but his expectation for the meeting fell short. In the end, while the Lee Kuan Yew government clamped down on communism, the communist regime's brutal tactics ultimately contributed to its downfall, leaving behind a trail of devastation and lost lives. A poignant reminder that even the noblest of causes can be tarnished by ruthless ambition. How do you see Singapore today? Leave your comments in the comment section below. Thank you for watching. Please like and share this video. Kindly subscribe for more intriguing videos. Lessons Untold. Relax, review, reflect,